When was the last time that you sat back and just watched a cloud? Just watched the way it builds in brilliant white cauliflower mounds. Was it when you were a kid? Before time was money? When your only deadline was bedtime? They're so omnipresent, aren't they? So everyday that it's easy to forget they're even there. It's easy to miss that, in a way, clouds are the most dynamic and evocative of nature's displays. Perhaps you don't do it so much now that you're adults. Perhaps it feels a bit frivolous, a bit aimless, a bit frivolous to look up and go, wait a second, it's an angel with a camcorder. But perhaps it feels a bit kind of, well, whatever, when you go over to mention to your neighbors that there's an ostrich pecking on their roof. It may be aimless, but that doesn't mean it's pointless. Because when you have in your head in the clouds like this, when your brain is in coasting mode, that's a chance, that's a space for your subconscious to speak. And that's when you give yourself the space to make connections, make novel connections, come up with new ideas. Cumulus clouds are nature's invitation to daydream. But those same clouds, under certain circumstances, when the atmosphere is unstable, can build and grow up into the sky. They can grow taller and taller, rising eventually to 8, 10, 12 miles up into the sky. This is when they start to spread out at the top in enormous anvils covering over hundreds of square miles. It's when it's become the cumulonimbus storm cloud, the king of clouds. These majestic beasts of the atmosphere are what produce thunder and lightning and hail, and when they get together, they can combine into enormous and destructive storm systems. The cumulonimbus is the embodiment of the power that drives our atmosphere. And the way that it develops out of those innocent little cumulus clouds is an indication of the fact that clouds are forever in flux, forever changing, metamorphosing from one form to another. But one of the rarest types of cloud is this one, the Kelvin-Helmholtz wave cloud. Looks like a succession of waves with the tops curling over like ocean breakers. And this is caused by shearing winds. So the wind above the cloud layer and below the cloud layer differ significantly. And in between, you get this undulation where the cloud is. And if the difference between those two speeds is just right, then the tops of those undulations curl over in beautiful vortices. Now, all those clouds form within the lower part of our atmosphere. All right? In a part called the troposphere, which is the lowest 6 to 12 miles, depends where you are in the world. But there's one type of cloud that forms higher than these, much higher, and it can only be seen at night. The noctilucent cloud. It's 50 miles up in the atmosphere. So it's not in the stratosphere, which is above the troposphere. It's in the mesosphere, the part above that, which is an incredibly cold and incredibly dry part of our atmosphere. And they get the name noctilucent because being so high up, when the sun's gone down over the horizon, the sky has become dark, these still catch the light. Noctilucent means night shining in Latin. They still catch the light and they have this beautiful, eerie, rippled, sort of mysterious appearance to them, which is kind of appropriate because they are mysterious. We don't understand how the water that forms the ice in these clouds gets up into that incredibly dry part of the atmosphere, nor do we understand why, since the end of the 19th century, when they were first observed, these clouds seem to be being spotted more and more frequently. If there's a message to take from all this, what is it? Allowing your thoughts to drift along in the breeze is something I don't think we do enough of. Our attentions, those are drifting all the time. Our attention's drifting all the time. We're around the internet, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, with all the feverishness of information addicts. But if we want quality ideas to come out of all that stimulation, we need to build in time to recharge, to reboot. We need to give our self-conscious sides the chance and the time and the space to forge connections, to make original ideas. And where better to do that than in this ocean of air above us, in those ink blots, just like those ink blots, the abstract forms of the clouds are whatever we make of them. They allow our imaginations to find purchase. It's the opposite of blue sky thinking, because great ideas don't happen in a vacuum. It's the things that get in the way that lead us to new solutions, that force us to think differently. So look up, marvel at the ephemeral beauty, and remember to live life with your head in the clouds.